Certainly the key to preparation and the key to preventing some of these attacks is the public-private partnership between so-called soft targets and law enforcement. In Suffolk County and as well as New York City, we have a program here in New York City. It's called NYPD Shield. In Suffolk County, it's called SCPD Shield. And it's a public-private partnership where we're constantly pushing out information about the latest threats, and we're consulting, essentially, providing consulting services to private industry to decrease their vulnerability to active shooter scenarios, terrorist attacks, but also to make sure that our response is effective. So God forbid something occurs, because we can't prevent every single incident. God forbid something occurs, we can reduce the number of casualties. So that collaboration between the private sector and law enforcement agencies is critical.
So is profile, I don't know whether it's profiling or whether it's mental health, or I don't know what we do about, and whether we could have figured this guy.
Well, there's certain,
because this guy was, something snapped, or he was angry at some. I mean, this is like, it should have been obvious to someone. Also, the see something, say something that
that's
we talk
right.
about.
And you raise a great point. Oftentimes, vast majority of active shooters exhibit some sort of behavior, whether it's a comment, something they say to a coworker, or something they put on social media, or some sort of behavior that evinces their intent to carry out some act of violence. So law enforcement's message to the public is be vigilant. If you see something or hear something, trust your gut, report it. The FBI asked local law enforcement agencies to step up their game to guard against active shooters and terrorism, and we have. We've increased patrols, we've increased firepower on the street, we've increased collaboration with the private sector. Now we're asking residents, remain vigilant. Oftentimes, it's going to be a civilian who prevents an active shooter or a terrorist attack by noticing some sort of behavior early on and reporting it.
But are we just relying on individuals to say something and to notice something when it comes to soft targets? I mean, who's to prevent somebody from going into a hotel here in Times Square and doing the very same thing that he did in Las Vegas?
There's certainly technology that's available to law enforcement that allows us to data mine so that we can pick up people's intentions to commit acts of terror or active shooter scenarios. We obviously mine social media very aggressively. We also stay up to date on the latest intelligence bulletins throughout the world. We're constantly sharing intelligence. In Suffolk County, we have 3 detectives that are assigned to the Joint Terrorism Task Force run by the FBI. We have an intelligence center where outside agencies sit in police headquarters, and we do the same. We have members of our department sit in other agencies' headquarters. So there's an enormous amount of intelligence that we share, but it's a lot of information. And it is to some extent, we need to rely on people. We need to rely on people to do the right thing. The people are our eyes and ears. So we're constantly asking people, if you hear something, if you see something, say something.
But in this case, you have a big concert, someone's in a tower of a hotel. What could they do? I mean, how would you prevent something like this?
It's unclear.
And there's no evidence of social media comments by this character so far.
It's unclear whether this was preventable. I think we talked about one of the issues earlier on in the show is, could the hotel provide some sort of security protocols in terms of baggage search, particularly when someone has so many items of luggage. So certainly there's no question that the hotel is going to be looking at their security protocols to see if they could have done something differently here. And that's the whole point of the SCPD Shield program, the whole point of the NYPD Shield program, to constantly be updating the private sector as to what they can do better to prevent active shooters, to prevent terrorist attacks. We're going to see we're going to examine this situation, and no question, we're going to bring some corrective action to New York. Unfortunately, we learn from tragic incidents frequently in law enforcement, right. And we need to keep updating our policies, keep updating our practices to keep us as safe as possible.
I mean, if you could just snap your fingers and have every hotel, you give your baggage to the bellman, and then he just puts it through one of those.
Like at the airport.
Puts it through there, and then goes the other side and brings it up to your room. But that would take a while and be expensive, but if you could just do it and they were there, I do think that would make things a lot safer, probably.
Yes, and those who are concerned about privacy issues, I would say, look, when you're staying in a public accommodation, when you're using mass transit, public transportation, you lose a lot of your expectation of privacy. Right. In this day and age, when we have this threat of lone wolf terrorists and active shooters, we need to be extremely vigilant. And law enforcement, we're asking folks to recognize that, to understand that. And we need to do our jobs to keep people safe, and people need to understand that.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.